We continue now at the top of Daf Nun Chesam and Beis in Meseches Zevachim. This is Zevachim Daf 58b. On the previous Amud, the Gemara said that if Rabbi Yossi holds that the Mizbeach was entirely in the north of the Azar, there must be some Mishnah where we can find that Rabbi Yossi says that. And the Gemara brings a Mishnah in Meseches Talmud. The Mishnah Meseches Talmud says that they would make a second Ma'arocha on the outer Mizbeach, a second pile of wood on the outer Mizbeach, and the purpose of that pile of wood was to take coals from that pile of wood and bring them to the inner Mizbeach, and they would burn the ketores on the inner Mizbeach. And the Mishnah in Meseches Talmud says that that Ma'arocha, that pile of wood, it was on the southwestern side of the Mizbeach, but not at the very corner, not in the corner southwest. Rather, it was 4 amos to the north. And as we will see as the Gemara here continues, the idea is that this Ma'arocha needed to be right in front of the doorway of the Kodesh, right in front of the doorway of the Heichal, of the Beis HaMikdash. And so apparently if it's 4 amos north of the southwestern corner, so that would be right in front of the Heichel, as we will see. And the Gemara says this Mishnah would seem to be following Rabbi Yossi. As Rabbi Yossi says in a Brisa, Rabbi Yossi says, Zeh Siman, the following is the Siman. Here's how you know exactly what to do in terms of the placement of bringing things from inside to outside, outside to inside. It goes as follows. Kol hanitol bifnim li nosin b'chutz. Anything that's taken from inside the Heichel to be placed outside, let's say on the outer Mizbeach, we'll see as we continue. So anything that's done in that fashion, eino nosein ela b'samach, it's always done b'samach she'ein lifnim. Rashi here explains, Rabbi Yossi, the Tanya, Rabbi Yossi Omer, zeh siman b'yodcha, this is the siman you should have with you, the way to remember, so to speak. Kol hanitol mi b'fnim li nosin b'chutz, anything that's taken from inside to be placed outside. U'lekamei mefaresh ma'iniu. Now the Gemara, as it goes on, will explain what exactly we are referring to. So again, eino nosein ela b'samach she'ein lifnim, it's only placed b'samach she'ein lifnim, which means eino nitan b'chutz al hamizbeach achitzon. Whatever you're placing on the outside, on the outer mizbeach, it has to be placed ela b'samach litzad penim. It means to say you place it on the area of the mizbeach that is most directly corresponding to the heichal. She'ein b'mizbeach achitzon makamach lifnim yoser mimenu. There should be no place on the outer mizbeach that's closer to the heichal, that's closer to the entrance into the kodesh than that. That's what the siman means, and similarly the other way around. V'chol hanital b'chutz, anything that's taken from the outer mizbeach, linosin lifnim, to be placed inside the heichal, eino nital ela b'samach she'ein lifnim. Again, it should be taken from a place that is as close as possible to the heichal, that there's nothing closer. And the Gemara now tries to understand, what does this brisa mean? Kol hanital b'fnim linosin b'chutz. We're talking about things taken from inside to be placed outside. Ma'iniu, what is that referring to? Ilema shirayim. Now, if you say what we're talking about is shirayim, which is the remainder of the blood, they would take the remainder of the blood from the inner karbanos, the inner chatos, and they would pour it at the yesod of the outer mizbeach. So that's already a pasuk, behed yaksibuhu. That's an explicit pasuk. It says el yesod mizbach ha'ola asher pesach ol moed. It says by the base of the outer mizbeach, the mizbach ha'ola, which is by the entrance of the ol moed, meaning the area of the base of the mizbeach, directly corresponding to the entrance of the ol moed, the entrance of the heichal. V'suin further, kol hanital b'chutz linasim b'fnim, the other statement in the Bryce of Rabbi Yossi, anything that's taken from the outside to be brought inside, ma'iniu, what is that a reference to? Ilema gecholim shel Yom HaKippur. Maybe you'll say, if you say it's the gecholim, the coals of Yom Kippur, also over there, behed yaksib behu, it's also explicitly written over there. It says in the pasuk, v'lokach melo hamachta gachal hayesh. Taking a look at the full pasuk, it says, v'lokach melo hamachta gachal hayesh, me'al hamizbeach milifnei Hashem, u'melo chafnav ketorasim da'aka v'hevi mibeis laparochas. Again, it says milifnei Hashem, it has to be directly lifnei Hashem, and so there we have a pasuk as well, so that cannot be what the Bryce is referring to. And so the Gemara continues, rather, what does the Brisa mean when it says anything taken from the inside to be placed outside? That is the Shnei Baziche Levona Shalechem Hapanim, that refers to the 2 Baziche Levona, the frankincense of the Lechem Hapanim, the Gamri Mishirayim, and the idea is that is learned from Shirayim, the same as the remainder of the blood that's taken to the area of the Mizbeach right in front of the entrance of the Heichal. That would be again the western side of the Mizbeach, so the same thing is true by the Baziche Levona from the Lechem Hapanim. They're also taken to that exact area of the Mizbeach. And hanital b'chutz linasim b'fnim. And what does it mean, that which is taken from the outer mizbeach inside? That's the gecholim kolim d'chol yoma v'yoma. That's the coals that we're talking about right now. The coals of each and every day. Those are taken again from that west side of the Mizbeach. De gomran migacholim shel Yom HaKippurim. They're learned from the coals of Yom Kippur. And so we understand now from this brisa that Rabbi Yossi holds in general we're always taking from the west side of the Mizbeach, closest to the entrance of the Heichel. But again, the Mishnah said that it's specifically 4 amos north from the southern end of the Mizbeach. And so then the question is, where exactly is the Mizbeach? That 4 amos north from the southern end of the Mizbeach is going to be right in front, is going to be by the entrance to the Heichel. And so the Gemara says, Umay Kosavar, what exactly does Rabbi Yossi hold, meaning in terms of the placement of the Mizbeach? Now, if Rabbi Yossi holds that the entire Mizbeach is in the south, it's in the southern half of the Azara, and so if that is the case, if the entire Mizbeach is in the southern half of the Azara, we should understand that the entrance to the Heichel is 10 amos. 5 amos of that entrance is going to be in the north of the Azara, and 5 amos is going to be in the south of the Azara. And if the entire Mizbeach is in the south of the Azara, so then effectively the northernmost part of the Mizbeach, those last 5 amos, those are going to be the amos that are corresponding to the entrance to the Heichel. And so therefore, if you're going to move from the southern part of the Mizbeach northward to try to get to the entrance of the Mizbeach, so how much are you going to have to move? We understand that the Mizbeach is 32 amos, and you have to move to those last 5 amos, that's 32 minus 5. And so therefore, the Gemara says, if you're going to say the entire Mizbeach is in the south, so Esrim Vasheva boy lemesi, you actually have to go 27 amos. If you would start from the southern corner, the southwest corner of the Mizbeach, and you would want to move to right in front of the entrance into the Heichel, so you're going to have to move to the last 5 amos there, those last 5 amos in the north, that's 27 amos. You start, it's a 32 amma Mizbeach, and you go again 27 amos, that's going to be the 5 amos that are by the entrance, that are corresponding to the entrance. Those 5 amos would be the southern half, so to speak, of the entrance to the Heichel. V'inami kasavar. Now, even if you're going to say that he holds that kedushas Heichel v'ulam chadahi, that the kedusha of the Heichel and the ulam, the entrance hall, is the same. Now, the difference in terms of the ulam was a little bit larger, and by the ulam, it actually would have been a 20 amma entrance, and there would have been 10 amos that actually would have been in the southern side. If the entire Mizbeach was in the southern half of the Azara. So then in that situation, you're actually doing 32 minus 10. So then Esrim V'tarti boy Mese. So then you have to go 22 amos. You'd move from the southern corner of the Mizbeach 22 amos, and then you would arrive at that 10 amos, again, the beginning of those 10 amos of the entrance to the Ulam, which are the 10 amos that are in the south. There's going to be another 10 amos in the north, because it's a total of a 20 amma entrance. But again, that would be 22. That wouldn't be 4. And furthermore, let's say he holds that half of the Mizbeach is in the north and half is in the south. Now, if half is in the north and half is in the south, so then really we're only talking about 16 amos of the Mizbeach. Of the 32 amma Mizbeach, 16 amos are going to be in the north and 16 amos are going to be in the south. So then if we're not talking about the ulam, let's say we're just talking about the Heichel, so again that's 5 amos, so then you're going to do 16 minus 5. So chad sari boy lemesi, so then it's just 11 amos. You're going to start from the southern corner, the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach. You'll move 11 amos, and that's when you arrive to the beginning of those 5 amos, that again, those 5 amos that are in the southern part, of the Azar. And again, there's another 5 amos of entrance that's going to be in the northern half of the Azar. That's if the Mizbeach is exactly in the middle, if the Mizbeach is half in the north and half in the south. So you're starting again, you're 16 amos away, you move 11 amos, that's going to get you to those 5 amos. V'elo kasavar, and even if he holds kedushas Heichel v'ulam chadamil, so again, chadamil, see that the ulam and the Heichel, it's all one. And so therefore it's not an entrance that's just 10 amos with 5 in the north and 5 in the south. It's an entrance again that's 20 amos with 10 in the north and 10 in the south. So again, even in that situation, so we're talking about 16, and then you're going to subtract 10. So shizboy lemesi, so that would be a total of 6 amos. It still would not be 4. And so therefore, none of those calculations are going to work. And so elalav, rather is it not, mishum de kosavar, that what Rabbi Rabbi Yossi actually holds is Kulei Mizbeach, but Safon Kai, that the entire Mizbeach actually is in the north. And if the entire Mizbeach is actually in the north, so then what are we talking about when we're talking about the south side of the Mizbeach? We're going to say the entire Mizbeach is in the north, and then on the south side of the Mizbeach you move 4 amos. What 4 amos are we talking about? Vahani Arba amos. Those 4 amos are just referring to the Amma Yesod. There was one Amma that's the base of the Mizbeach. V'Amma Sovev, then there's another Amma that's the ledge of the Mizbeach. V'Amma Makam Kronos, and then there's another Amma that's the Makam Kronos, the place of the corners. V'Amma Makam Ragle HaKohanim, and then you also have the Amma where the Ragle HaKohanim, where the feet of the Kohanim are, where the Kohanim are walking. Techimazku L'Kamei Tzvei Suleka Pesach. That if you move the Ma'aracha any further than that, it would no longer be in front of the entrance again into the Heichel, and that explains the 4 amos. The 4 amos are again simply the Am of the Yesod, the Sovev, and the area of the Kronos, and the area where the Kohanim walked, and so you distance it from those, and then you have it again right in front of the entrance to the Heichel. And the Gemara continues and says, Amar Rav Ada bar Ahava, Rav Ada bar Ahava says that really the Mishnah is not Rabbi Yossi at all, and it's no proof, it's no hint to the idea that Rabbi Yossi holds that the entire Mizbech was in the north, because Hamoni Rabbi Yehuda, he actually the author of the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa, Rabbi Yehuda says, Mizbeach memutza v'yomed, b'yemtzo azara, that the Mizbeach actually was right in the middle, it was in the middle of the Azara. Again, the idea would be that half of the Mizbeach is going to be in the north, and half of the Mizbeach is going to be in the south. Ushaloshim ushtayim amos hayulo, and it was a total of 32 amos, as we said. Eser amos keneged pischo shel heichel. 10 amos in the middle of the Mizbeach corresponded to the entrance of the heichel, which, as we said, was 10 amos. And then achas eser mikan, v'achas eser mikan. Then you had another 11 amos on this side, and another 11 amos on that side. Nimsa Mizbeach mechuvan keneged heichel. It comes out the Mizbeach was exactly corresponding to the entrance to the heichel. And so again, the Gemara says, well, even if we say that the Mizbeach is right in the middle, the amount that you're going to move from the southwestern corner is not going to be 4 amos, because again, you have a total of 16 amos over there, but there are 5 amos of entrance, it should be 16 minus 5. Sof Rabbi Yehuda, Chad Sari, Boy Lemese, still according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're going to move 11 amos from the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach, till you arrive, corresponding to the beginning of the 5 amos of the entrance, the beginning of the 10 amos, but the 5 amos again in that side, of the entrance of the southern side of the Heichel. V'kosavar kedushas Heichel v'ulam chodam milsi. And again, let's say we hold that the sanctity of the Heichel and the ulam are 1. So now we have a 20 amma entrance, 10 amos on each side. So still you're going to take 16 minus 10. Shisboy lemese. So as we said, that's just going to be 6 amos that you're going to move from the southwestern corner. And so therefore still we have to explain why is it 4 amos. And the Gemara says to that, Misavrid hani arba amos bahadayami yesod v'amos sovev. Do you think that when we're moving 4 amos, that includes the amma of the base and the amma of the ledge? It doesn't include those, so it actually is 6 amos. Arba amos bar me'ama yesod v'ama sovev. It's actually 4 amos excluding the amma of the yesod and the amma of the sovev, so it actually really is 6 amos if you would include the yesod and the sovev. And so therefore, again, we are following Rabbi Yehuda. The Mizbech is exactly in the middle, and we are we're not only counting the Kedusha of the Heichel, we're counting the Kedusha of the Ulam as well, and so therefore the amount of the full entrance of the Ulam is 20 amos. It's 10 amos if we're just looking at half of the entrance, if we're just looking again at that half of the Mizbeach that's in the southern side. And so therefore, again, what we're going to say is we go from the southern corner, the southwestern corner of the Mizbeach, and if you're going to move 4 amos, but again, not just 4 amos, you're going to move 4 amos plus the amma of the Yesod, plus the amma of the Sovev, you're going to move 6 amos, so then you'll be in front of the entrance of the Ulam. But the Gemara continues and asks, V'nukma Rabbi Yossi uvememutza. But if you're already saying that the Mizbeach could be in the middle, and again we're amos to do the calculation in this manner that the Mizbeach is in the middle, and so therefore the southern part of the Mizbeach you're able to move northward 6 amos, and it really is 4 amos plus the Am of the Yesod and the Am of the Sovev. You move in that northern direction, and then you will arrive at the southern part of the entrance of the Ulam. So why say it's like Rabbi Yehuda? Why not just say it's like Rabbi Yossi? And Rabbi Yossi holds that the Mizbeach is right there in the middle. And the Gemara says to that, Mishum de Rabbi Yehuda shamanole memutza behedya. That's just because we've heard explicitly that Rabbi Yehuda happens to hold that it is memutza, that it is in the middle, and that's why we say that we're following Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara continues, Rav Sharavya Amar, and Rav Sharavya says, Hamani, who's the author of the Mishnah in Talmud? Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. It's actually Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brayso, Rabbi Yossi HaGlili Omer, Rabbi Yossi HaGlili says, Mitoch Shenemar, since it says in the Pasuk, V'nasatas HaKior, Bein Oel Moed, it says that the Kior is going to be placed between the Oel Moed and the Mizbeach, V'gomer. We'll see the gears of the Bach in a moment. And the Pasuk also says, V'yes, the Pasuk also says, and the Bach's gear says as follows, As HaKior Bein Oel Moed V'gomer, the Kior is placed between, again, the Oel Moed and the Mizbeach, and the Bach's gear says, V'kosav Echad Omer, and there's another pasuk that says, V'yas Mizbach HaOla, it says the Mizbach HaOla, and Rashi explains, V'Rav Sharavya Amar, Dalid Amos to Katani, this 4 amos that it says in the Mishnah in Talmud, you move 4 amos from the southwest corner, Bahade Amma Yisod V'Ama Sovev Kamer, that includes the Amma of the base and the Amma of the ledge, V'dok Mina Kedakamer, and you could infer, as you said, the Mizbeach B'tzafon Kai. It actually is true that the Mizbeach is in the north, Umiyu, and nevertheless, Rabbi Yochanan Lo Tasaya Mina, the name of Rabbi Yossi ben Chalaftahi, you can't bring a proof to Rabbi Yochanan to bring a proof that this is actually following Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta is Rabbi Yossi. In other words, we're trying to find a source in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yossi holds that the Mizbeach is in the north, but this is not a source for that because this is not Rabbi Yossi, it's actually Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. Mishum Deshaminon Le Da'iri B'Nitalin V'Nitanin, because again, we do know that Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta holds by Nitalin and Nitanin, as we said above, that it always needs to be the area of the Mizbeach closest to the entrance of the Heichal. Da'hula Kuli Alma Islu, because everybody agrees with that. Everybody agrees it should be the area on the outer Mizbeach that's closest to the entrance of the Heichal. V'hadid Tamid Rabbi Yossi HaGlili Mukminan, but the Mishnah in Talmud is not like Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, like Rabbi Yossi, rather it's like Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. The Shaminon Le D'Amar Mizbeach B'Tzafon Kai, because we already know that Rabbi Yossi HaGlili holds that the Mizbeach is in the north. Aval Rabbi Yossi Stama do Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta, but according to Rabbi Yossi, Stam Rabbi Yossi is Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta. The Lo Shamatle, we don't know from anywhere that Rabbi Yossi holds that the Mizbeach is in the north. The Amar Lo Sukma, there we shouldn't say the Dilma Rabbi Yehuda Svirale. It's possible that Rabbi Yossi doesn't hold like Rabbi Yossi HaGlili that the Mizbeach is in the north. Maybe he holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Mitoch shenemar bekior, since it says by the basin, bein Oel Moed uvein Mizbeach, it says between the Oel Moed and the Mizbeach. Because of Echad Omer, and there's another pasuk that says, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph.